Welcome back. Jae Myung officially inaugurated as South Korea's president, marking the event with a citizen appointment ceremony. It's the first of its kind in the nation, largely meant to underscore the legitimacy of Mr. Lee's government. President Lee emphasized that the people will be at the heart of its governing philosophy. He was sworn into office on the 4th of June, just a day after winning a snap election, without the usual inauguration event. Now, the country's main opposition party slammed the ceremony, calling it a self-coronation. Interim party leader Lim Yun Suk said it was hard to understand why the event took place on the country's Liberation Day. South Korea is marking 80 years of its liberation from Japanese rule. In a speech to commemorate the occasion, President Lee pledged to forge mutually beneficial relations with Japan, as well as build, quote, military trust with North Korea, a day after Pyongyang said it had no interest in improving ties.
현재 북측의 체제를 존중하고 어떠한 형태의 흡수 통일도 추구하지 않을 것이며 일체의 적대 행위를 할 뜻도 없음을 분명히 밝힙니다.
Well, let's go straight to Seoul live, where CNA's Lim Yun Suk joins us. Yun Suk, we can hear that the celebrations commemorating President Lee's inauguration wrapping up. How have they been so far?
Well, yes, like you said, you can hear the celebrations here, and this ceremony here is coming to an end. Now, this is a celebration where many of the South Koreans here say that they have officially appointed President Jae Myung as the president. And earlier, we saw President Jae Myung on stage where he's received certificates from 80 different people here in South Korea from different walks of life who sort of like wrote down what they wanted from South Korean President Jae Myung, how they wanted him to run the country. And also earlier, we saw President Lee shaking hands with former President Moon Jae-in, who was also invited to this event. But unfortunately, some of the other conservative former leaders, including President Lee Myung-bak and Park Geun-hye, were not here at this event today, though they were invited, citing health reasons and other reasons too. Now, as you can hear, there was a lot of applause, a lot of clapping here among the South Koreans who are gathered from early Friday afternoon to celebrate this, official appointment of President Jae Myung. And earlier, he did give a speech saying that he was very thankful to the South Korean people and that he felt this deep responsibility to be able to turn those wishes of the South Korean people into reality. And so this is coming to an end. It lasted for about 1.5 hours. Many people are still here because there will be more of these cultural performances and singing and dancing by South Korean artists here because they are celebrating the appointment of President Jae Myung as their leader.
Well, they're also celebrating Liberation Day. President Lee pledging to build on relations with North Korea and Japan as well in that speech. Feasible goals for him?
Well, I think it's something that he wants to achieve, but we will have to wait and see. It is Liberation Day in South Korea, and every year on August 15th, there is a ceremony in the morning to mark the Liberation Day. And President Lee Jae Myung also attended his first official ceremony as president of South Korea. And there at that Liberation Day ceremony, he did give a speech talking about how he wanted to unite the South Koreans in the country, but also touched on North Korea and Japan. Now, talking of North Korea, he said it was important to build trust between the two Koreas, and he said that he wanted to restore this September 19th military agreement between South and North Korea, and he said it was really important that there is this less tension here on the Korean Peninsula, and he mentioned about how he had dismantled some of the loudspeakers here along the Korean border, and also stopped the information, the propaganda information going out to North Korea from South Korea too. And North Korea has also stopped those broadcasts from North Korea, but it hasn't dismantled the loudspeakers. And so many analysts here are saying that despite despite the efforts and despite what President Lee Jae Myung is hoping to do, it could take some time before South and North Korea can even engage in dialogue. Because first of all, North Korea is really has no intention of holding talks with South Korea. And North Korea's leader, sister, the powerful sister Kim Yo-jong, has said many times that what is that North Korea has no intention to engage with the South Korea, which it calls, because of its close relations with the United States. Now, President Lee Jae Myung also talked of Japan and of moving forward the relations between the two countries. Now, there were earlier concerns that he was going to focus more on the historical disputes between South Korea and Japan, but in his speech at the Liberation Day ceremony, he did talk about how this Japanese government had to look into the wrongdoings of the past history, but it was very important for Japan to also move forward and try to restore ties and build trust between South Korea and Japan.
Right out. Thanks to CNA's Lim Yun Suk reporting live from Seoul.